Bro, your brain is foggy, dude, okay? I can see it pouring out of your ear holes. Ew. You must not know about the 3 tips and tricks that I'm about to give you in this video. Okay, fine, I'll bloody give them to you then, fine. But it does come at a cost, I'll have you know. I accept likes, subscribes, or hugs. No. Probably prefer the hugs, probably. I have personally struggled with a lot of brain fog. I've had too many days to count where I've woken up with the intention of getting into a deep work state and just had the most immense brain fog where I can't focus for literally 10 seconds. What do you think I did on these days where I had pretty bad brain fog? I would usually use it as an excuse to procrastinate a little bit. I would typically start like watching YouTube videos whilst I try and remember what I gotta do, or just whilst I wake up to try and retrieve my focus. But I just end up wasting the majority of my day. I tried to make a coffee. No, I wouldn't try to make coffee. I would, because I know how to make a coffee. I would make a coffee, but that wouldn't really work. Okay, that didn't really do a whole lot. In reality, there were a few key areas that I really needed to change and tweak and optimize about my routine that was going to help with this brain fog. And when I did eventually actually optimize them, this was when I was able to clear my brain fog pretty consistently, and I wanna share them with you today. Okay, so sit down, maybe look me in the eyes. No. I'm gonna share what those 3 tweaks are. Starting with work blueprints. A lot of the time, when I would sit down at my desk and I was gonna work, I would forget what work I actually need to do. Was I supposed to be filming? Was I supposed to be scripting? Was I supposed to be outreaching? Because I had so many things to do, it was which one did I say I needed to do next? It was typically not long after I'd woken up, which didn't help, so I just kind of sit there, try to remember. Obviously, it didn't take very long to remember what the next piece of work that I needed to do was. If you actually just use 2% of your brain power, you're probably gonna remember what it was. But it would have been much better to just wake up and immediately I've got it kind of written here or something. I know what I need to do. I could just crack on. I could just get into a flow state as soon as possible. This one I fixed pretty easily. I basically just added a new habit to my nightly routine. I spent about 2 minutes before I went to sleep every single night, basically just writing down all of the tasks that I have to do for the next day. I wrote them in pen on a piece of paper with little check boxes, basically in order of how I wanted to complete them, and I just put it on my pin board right in front of me. Then eventually, I started using this book here. I got this as a gift from my friend's mother. Now I call it my intentional workbook, and I use it to get very intentional with the work that I want to do the next day. So now, before I go to sleep, I will fill out half a page to a page, depending on how much I gotta do of this book with the dates, and then I'll just do check boxes, what I the task that I need to do. And then religiously every single morning I just have to open the book, see what I gotta do, see what order I have to do it in, and just crack on. Another issue that I ran into when it came to productivity was brain fog when it came to more creative kind of work. Scripting videos is a great example. It's a bit different from filming the videos or editing the videos, because when you're filming, you're reading off a script. Okay, so there's not a lot of creative thinking involved. You don't really have to use your brain a whole lot. Right now, I'm just reading off a script. Editing is a little bit more creative than filming, but scripting for me is probably the most tedious when it comes to brain fog, because you've got to really think. And also, I don't use AI to script my videos. I don't just put a prompt in and say, I want to make a video about this, make me a script. I use it very rarely for some ideas, but typically it's all just me. It just comes from me. Now, unless I decided to do that, unless I decided to just go to AI and say, can you make me this script every single time, I had to optimize in some way. Okay, I had to make a little tweak. My main focus was to make it less creative without actually fully stripping it of its creativity. So what I did to make this just a small bit less creative, so I don't have to think as hard, and made it more sort of automatic, was I added a basic structure to each video. So now when I'm scripting a video, I know, okay, you start with like the intros, you know, like the intros that I do. Maybe this is the first time you're watching my video, but I always do like a little skit in the intro, gay little skit. But I enjoy doing them, so I know now that that's like what I start with. And then typically I will go into a story. So I'll go into like some kind of experience that I've had that's relevant to the video. And then I know, okay, after the story, we just go into different points, like just make it very simple. So for example, I literally just have here, number 1, work blueprints, and then I've got like my bullet points, and then I've got number 2, and I've got number 3. Not gonna put any spoilers. I want you to watch the video for longer, guys. It makes the channel perform better. Then in the outro, I'll have the same structure every time. I'll typically say like the same type of thing. This structure doesn't completely eliminate like 100% of the creativity, because one, I don't use it like all the time. I use it like 95% of the time, but sometimes I will have a video idea where it doesn't really fit into that structure. So then I've got to get a bit more creative with the structure. But also, it just adds a template for creativity. Okay, it doesn't completely, I'm still scripting the videos, I'm still coming up with the ideas for the points, and I'm still coming up with, you know, everything that I'm gonna say. It's just like a stencil, it's just like a template, but it makes it so much easier. Even just like having this tiny little template makes it so much easier, because it completely eliminates having to think of which way I'm going to structure this video. I not only have to think of what to say and the points that I'm going to use, but I also have to think how am I going to structure it? It's kind of like adding gates to what was once an infinite playground. I came up with that all by myself, okay? Because I'm creative. It's still a playground, it's just a bit more tidy and it's easier to work with. You would obviously have to reform this idea to fit whatever your brain fog tasks look like, depending on what your work is. But this really has saved me from perfectionism, and also just sitting there and thinking of what to write. No carbs before work. I've actually found that I'm somebody who works very well on an empty stomach. If I am fasted in the morning, I will perform better and I will have much better focus. The issue there is that I am currently on a 3,000 calorie bulk, okay? And this is something that's still pretty high on my list of priorities. I'd say it's like 2nd or 3rd. And so I don't want to neglect it, but I also don't really fancy the idea of having to cram all of these calories in later in the day. So instead, I do opt to eat just before I get into like a deep focused work block in the morning. But before, I would eat like toast, I would eat cereal, the usual bulk breakfast that's typically like packed with carbs, it's packed with sugar, and the brain fog was just disgusting. I mean, even with coffee, I just could not focus at all. It was only when I watched the video from Hamza where he spoke about experiencing the same thing, but when he cut out carbs, his brain fog left. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm up for trying things. We're doing, like, I'm on self-improvement. This is kind of what self-improvement is. So maybe this is the case with me too. And so I tried it. This was around the same time that I started to buy steaks as well. I got really into steaks and started buying steaks for the bulk. Like, I fucking love steaks, dude. Steaks are fucking incredible. So it's very convenient. And all I did was I just spent a little extra time in the morning preparing the steak, cooking the steak. At first, I thought it was placebo, but my brain, like, I experienced very little brain fog. However, my stomach did hurt. It hurt a lot. That is very likely just due to the fact that I had like a huge diet switch up. Usually in the morning, I would be like packed with carbs. Suddenly, I'm not packed with carbs. Like, of course, my body's going to react in that way. And what really reaffirms that is the fact that it stopped eventually. I felt great every single morning. I'm talking like nearly no brain fog, depending on how I slept and everything as well. Pair that with black coffee, no sugar, dude. You might actually be a millionaire the next day, who knows? If you aren't currently on a bulk, like you don't need to pack a bunch of calories in, I would strongly encourage you to start spending the first few hours of your day fasted whilst you work. If you're on a cut, even better, just skip breakfast. But if you do need to eat in the morning before you work, like you're on a bulk like me, opt for a 0 carb breakfast. I do this most days now. Not everyone can afford steaks every morning. Eggs are a fantastic substitute. That's mostly what I'll have every morning, because obviously I don't want to buy steaks all the time as well. I usually literally just have 5 or 6 eggs with like parsley on top. Like I said, maybe a black coffee too. Cut down your artificial dopamine. I think you knew this was coming, right? Dopamine. So dopamine specifically artificial dopamine and too much of it is definitely the main reason that you're having brain fog. Okay, I won't lie to you, it might also be because you're having a lot of carbs in the morning, but what is most likely the biggest cause to your brain fog in the morning is just an excess amount of dopamine. I can almost guarantee that if your dopamine baseline in your body was higher, the natural motivation that you would actually produce for something like work would drown out any brain fog. You'd just be too motivated to focus. I do a dopamine detox every now and then, basically whenever I feel it's necessary. If I ever feel that my dopamine baseline is too low, if I'm ever extremely unmotivated for anything other than artificial stimulus, especially work, I will lock myself into a dopamine detox, and during this time my brain fog is like non-existent. I would recommend doing a full dopamine detox anyway, because I think a cleanse like that, dude, that is so necessary every once in a while, to just have like a full, like your dopamine receptors, they just kind of level. They just kind of level out. But if you really don't want to do that, okay, I'll say for the people who are really serious about this, you know, you want no brain fog in the morning because you want to have like deep work sessions and you want to produce very high quality, very meaningful work, and you're really serious about this, do the full dopamine detox. Stop coping, just do the detox. But if you really don't want to do it, you have to at the very least understand that you've got to keep your dopamine receptors regulated. You have to. You cannot be watching porn every single day, spending hours just like scrolling short form, and then complain that you have no motivation to focus on anything that's less stimulating than those things. The less stimulated you are on a daily basis, the better your focus will be. If you did want to do a full dopamine detox, let me put you on real quick. Don't just kind of like go on a dopamine detox, you know, like write a few things down. Maybe you like add like a note in your phone, or you like add a new page in Notion, and then you write it all down, you plan it, and you just, yeah, like I'm on a dopamine detox now. Fully lock in on it. When I am on a dopamine detox, Instagram is deleted from my phone. Okay, TikTok is deleted from, I don't typically have TikTok on my phone anyway, but that will be deleted from my phone. I would post all of my content because I post reels and TikToks. You should follow them, by the way. They will be down in the description. I'm very active. I'm posting multiple times a day. I will just post my videos from my browser on my laptop. My phone itself is in grayscale mode, which is basically a setting that makes everything look gray. The idea is that it makes your phone look less appealing, and it works. Obviously it's not right now because I'm not in a dopamine detox, but whenever I'm in a dopamine detox, I will do that. I've said this in a lot of videos, but I will typically keep my PS5 unplugged. Like, it's not, I don't even have a monitor here. If ever I want to use it, I will borrow, like, my mum has like a monitor that I can bring up, but I'll usually just keep my PS5 in a rucksack in literally that cupboard right there. It's just in the back. Oh no, actually I moved it. It's now over there in the corner. But either way, it's nowhere near me. So like I don't see it and then like get the trigger and get reminded of the video games. It makes no sense for you, if you're on a dopamine detox, to make it harder for yourself. It makes no sense to do that, right? So why would you keep your PlayStation plugged in, ready to play? That makes no sense. I lock myself away from these triggers as much as possible, okay? I don't just, I flee from these triggers. I don't just tell myself that I'm not gonna give in to them. If you are addicted to scrolling currently, you will not stop scrolling if TikTok or Instagram or whatever you use to scroll. Personally, I use Apple Maps to scroll. Personally, that's just what I like to do. If those things are still on your phone, you won't stop. You will not stop scrolling, because if you had the kind of willpower to resist, you wouldn't be addicted in the first place, okay? And all of those times that you've said you're going to go on a dopamine detox, or you said you're going to limit your screen time, and you haven't done it, you would have done it. So listen, the biggest way that you can delete your brain fog, or reduce your brain fog as much as possible, is to regulate your dopamine. And if you are going to go on a full dopamine detox, which by the way I think is a great idea, I've expressed this, I think it's the best idea, you need to go all in, okay? Do it properly, make it really count. Hopefully all of that disgusting brain fog that was just pouring out of your bloody ear canals, hopefully all of that's gone. If your nan is having this same issue, okay, I think you know the drill by now. Chuck her the link to this video. Okay, we'll have it sorted in minutes. Once again, follow me on TikTok and Instagram, should be down below. I'm very active over there. Like, subscribe, maybe even report my channel. don't report my channel. Good. Goodbye? Is that what people say usually?